I like that I'm making a wedding video and I don't even have my ring on. I have the rubber ones. I left my real ring at my parents' house. So we're off to a good start. Hey guys, it's Meredith and welcome back to my channel. So I know that this is a little bit different than the usual content that I make, but I recently got married back in March and I wanted to talk about some of my favorite details and aspects of my wedding. I thought it could be really helpful to anyone who is getting married or knows anyone getting married and wanted to incorporate any of these ideas for themselves. So starting off, as you probably know, books are a huge part of my life. It is what my whole channel is about. I just am constantly reading, constantly thinking about books, constantly talking about books, and so I knew that I wanted to incorporate books into my wedding somehow. So one way that I did this was creating a list over time of book quotes, specifically love quotes, that I have really enjoyed or that I just thought were super sweet, and I put a different quote on each table, as you can see here. I won't read all of them since there were about 20 tables, I think, and so some of my favorites were: you have to have one person in your life that you know would never do anything to steer you wrong. They may disagree with you, they could even break your heart from time to time, but you have to have one person at least you know will always tell the truth. And that was from Daisy Jones and the Six. And that was the moment I realized, when the world felt dark and scary, love could whisk you off to go dancing, laughter could take some of the pain away, beauty could punch holes in your fear. I decided that my life would be full of all three. And that was from Emily Henry Beach Read. And then the last one I'll read is from Addicted to You by Kristen Becker-Ritchie, but the quote is: we're terrible at so many things, remembering important dates, college, making friends, but the one thing we've always been halfway decent at is being together. I just thought this was a cute way to incorporate books. We also put one on the memory table, which had pictures of our grandparents who are no longer with us. And I included a quote from Reminders of Him by Emily Henry, and it was: maybe the best way to cope with the loss of the people we love is to find them in as many places and things as we possibly can. And so the quote was perfect for the memory table. It made my mom cry when she first heard it. Next were the gifts that I gave my bridesmaids. I gave them quite a few different things for the wedding, but my favorite thing that I did was I gave them each a book that I thought that they would enjoy. So no one got the same book. I was going to write a cute note in them and then I just didn't. I got too overwhelmed with wedding week, but I did. We all like sat in a circle and then I handed them each book and explained why I thought they would like it and the reason that I picked it for them. And the girls who have read each book have really loved them, and so that was really fun. I asked them to tell me something that they usually look for in a book or in a TV show if I wasn't too sure what to get them. Some of the girls, I immediately knew what I was going to give them, but just to kind of back it up, I asked them. So for my matron of honor, I gave her People We Meet on Vacation. Mark's sister, I gave her Verity by Colleen Hoover. For my other bridesmaids, I gave them In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, ACOTAR, It Ends With Us, and The Unhoneymooners. I, again, really thought that that was a cute way to incorporate books without making anything too themed or forcing a book theme on things. I just, again, love pushing my favorite books on people, and so this was a great way to do it. Also, our cake topper had Always, which was a subtle nod to Harry Potter. I don't think that really anybody would have picked up on that, but it was a way that I could incorporate Harry Potter without it being too obvious. I also don't have them with me, but one of my favorite things that I did was get my wedding bouquet dried into bookends. Here is a picture of those. They turned out so pretty. The woman who did it was absolutely incredible. I will link her down below. I'm not sure if she ships anywhere, but she was absolutely amazing. It was a little pricey to do, but it's a way that I know I will use my wedding bouquet forever. So those were all of the ways that I incorporated books into my wedding. The next thing that I made sure I had plenty of was Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift with my whole heart. I met her back in 2011, and just to this day I am such a Swiftie, and so I knew I had to have plenty of Taylor Swift music on my wedding day. So what I did is, through the entire processional, everyone walking down, it was all instrumental piano Taylor Swift music. I just found it all on Spotify, and the DJ was able to play each version that I had requested. So as our family walked down, it was an instrumental version of Daylight. For the bridal party, it was Everything Has Changed. There was a specific wedding version that was just beautiful that I loved. Then I walked down to Lover. We included the song titles in each one, but of course only the people who really knew Taylor Swift knew that they were Taylor Swift songs, so it wasn't very in your face or didn't scream Taylor Swift, but it was just a subtle way that I knew it was Taylor Swift, so it made me incredibly happy. And then as we walked back down the aisle after the ceremony during the recessional, it was Today is a Fairy Tale, Taylor's version, of course. Also, while everyone was getting seated for the reception and waiting for us to come out, the DJ played tons of Taylor Swift music while everyone was sitting down, and I will be honest, I didn't have a huge part in saying that. I had told him I love Taylor Swift, and so he just made sure that he really played a ton of it, which was awesome. Everyone told me that they loved it and they gave me the credit, so I mean, that was fine. But he even played the 10-minute version of All Too Well while everyone was sitting down, and I got some texts waiting saying, wow, you even played the 10-minute version at your wedding. And so I loved that. I loved that I could include 10-minute All Too Well in the wedding. And then while the bridal party made their entrance and their introductions, we played Ready For It by Taylor Swift. And shout out to Mark for letting me do this, because he had some suggestions and I somehow talked my way into getting Taylor Swift. So I didn't pick Taylor Swift as our first dance, so I'm sure that's why he gave it to me, but it was so fun nonetheless. And for just some subtle details of life that I included that I really liked, it was a great way to personalize the wedding, was our drink menu. The liquor company that we went with allows you to choose 2 drinks and you can add on a 3rd, and so what we decided to do is include an Ellie drink, which was a 7 and 7, and I bought this adorable sign on Etsy. I'll link it down below. It was one of my favorite parts of the wedding, even though it was so subtle. I just really enjoyed that we had Ellie there. Another thing that we did was include Ellie Props. The photo booth company that we went with made props of your dog if you requested, and so of course we did, and so there were a ton of pictures that included Ellie, and I loved looking at all of them. We got some really cute ones of Mark and I with Ellie, and then just everybody else, so that was super fun. Really enjoyed that. And our photo booth was actually one that took pictures and did gifts, and that was something that was super fun. We got tons of comments, everybody loved it, and so if you have that option near you, I would highly recommend it, because I heard from a lot of people that it was just so cool and unique. We also decided to do donuts and a small cake versus doing a big cake, which not only saved us money, but it also allowed for a really cute display, and I just, again, I really loved it. I loved the greenery around there. I loved just how simple it was, but how cute. I struggled with including specific colors in my wedding. I know that picking a color palette is something that is so exciting for brides, and I struggled so hard with it because I tend to love very neutral colors, or the colors that I do like to include in, you know, my clothing or anything like that are nothing that I would want to include in a wedding. They tend to be, you know, brighter, or I don't know. I really struggled with it, and I finally decided to go with very muted tones. I had lots of whites, grays. I decorated with a ton of greenery, and it added enough of a color that it didn't look boring, but it wasn't too much. That was something that was super hard to decide on. I couldn't decide on any colors that I wanted to incorporate. So if you are in that position where, you know, colors just aren't really standing out to you for your wedding, I would definitely recommend just a ton of greenery, just on tables, on, you know, the dessert table. Our photo booth was an entire greenery wall. It just, that is such a perfect way to add some color without picking a color, because I didn't have any colors in my wedding. Like, the bridesmaids dresses were this bluish gray color. That was about as close to a color as I got. And the last one is more just advice, I guess, more so than anything else. But my wedding day was a beautiful day. It was sunny. It was a 0% chance of rain, but it was also 30 degrees outside. And so I was heartbroken at first. I really had pictured an outdoor wedding, and I told myself that I wasn't going to be disappointed if it was inside, but deep down I was. And so this seems really obvious, but make sure you pick a venue that you also love the indoor setup of, because my indoor setup ended up being perfect. Everything was so beautiful, and the people there were really great. They completely flipped the place for the reception, and they were so understanding of everything. And so even though everyone always assumes that it won't rain on their wedding day, or that weather won't be a factor, it can be, and it can be upsetting, but just make sure that you are okay with the indoor setup, because I ended up loving it. I love our pictures, and of course I wish that we could have had an outdoor ceremony, but everything ended up working out perfectly, and I don't regret a thing. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, leave a bride emoji. I loved watching videos like this leading up to my wedding. It helped with ideas and just things to prepare for. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe down below. So I will see you in my next video. Bye!